Hey everyone, welcome to another two-tailed playthrough. It's September, so that means it's time for some shooters. Starting us off is going to be Contra, the game by Konami that everybody loves, everybody knows about. It pretty much paved the way for run-and-gun shooters everywhere. Contra came out for the arcade in 1987 and was then ported to the NES, the Famicom, the MSX, a bunch of other systems from 1988 and onward. Despite the game not giving you any story at all when you start it up or even as you play through it, it does have a plot to it. Basically, you're controlling one of two commandos, Bill or Lance, who are sent on a mission to neutralize a terrorist organization called Red Falcon that is secretly planning an alien invasion of Earth. The back of the box did have a brief summary of the game, but since most of us were kids when we actually got this game, we wound up throwing the box away and never read it. I have a picture of it here, but it's kind of blurry, so I'll go ahead and read it for you. The game box says, "Pitted against the galaxy's fiercest foe, you either win or the whole world loses. The universe teeters on the brink of total annihilation at the hands of the vile alien warmonger Red Falcon. Earth's only hope rests with you, a courageous member of the Special Forces Elite Commando Squad. Your mission, battle deep into the deadly Amazon jungle, where Red Falcon and his galactic henchmen have transformed ancient Mayan temples into awesome monuments dedicated to mass destruction. A multitude of weapons, from rapid-fire machine guns to high-tech lasers, are at your disposal as you sweat blood fighting past 3D mazes, underground security systems, and tropical forests surrounded by giant waterfalls and alien cannons. This is the ultimate test for the ultimate guerrilla warrior, and if you survive, Earth survives. Featuring simultaneous play for 2 players or play against the computer." So yeah, basically you get a gun, you're running through the stages, shooting everything in your path, trying to destroy the Red Falcon. Simple. Okay, I've rambled on enough. Contra is a simple game to understand. Like I just said, you run, you shoot, you jump, you try not to get hit, you pick up power-ups, you save the world. So with that said, it's time to save the world. Here comes what's probably one of the most famous title screens in all of gaming. As everyone knows, this is where you would quickly enter the Konami code and get 30 extra lives to start the game with. Contra is one of the earliest games to feature the Konami code. There you go, you're literally dropped right into the game. You start out with just your normal machine gun, which of course has unlimited ammo, and you shoot whatever comes at you. Simple. The ammo I just picked up is of course the machine gun, and this here is the rapid fire feature, which actually makes the machine gun, and any other gun for that matter, fire a little faster. But again, that's common knowledge. Here we have the famous exploding bridges, which you can jump across like I am, or if you want to fall and walk through the water, you can do that too. They both go to the same area, though being up top here you can get that item that just flew by me, which was the spread gun. I'm going to try to beat each level with one gun entirely, just to start off with anyway, just to show them all off, since most people when they play this game, they get the spread gun, and that's all you need, because it's, quite frankly, the most powerful gun in the game. If you didn't take the upper route, there's where you would get your first spread gun. If not, then you would already have one. The L there, of course, is the laser, and I picked up another rapid fire, which I don't think stacks with one another. It still fires at the same speed if you already had one. You're going to see these turrets all throughout the game, so it's best to get used to how to dodge them. They fire really slow, and if you stand just to the side of the main muzzle, you can actually take several pop shots at it and take it out easy. And here we have our first boss, the building with a base. There's a guy on top that shoots at you, so take him out first, and then just stand back here and take out the guns. Once you take them out, there's nothing stopping you from walking right up in front of it and blasting away at the flashing weak point. Stage 2 starts the first of the base stages. In the arcade version, these stages were set in a corridor of each base, and you would have to run through them in order to make it into the center of the base where you'd fight an even larger boss. They were maze-like, and you had a map overhead showing you where to go. For the NES version, they took that out and made it much more linear here, where you're actually firing at the background, giving you a pretty cool effect as you can run into the background here, and then proceed through each door, working your way to the center of the area. The arcade version also had a time limit, which of course has been removed for the NES version. So basically, you have to shoot and destroy the flashing blue orb that opens up at the end of the hallway in order to proceed onward. After doing this 6 or 7 times, you'll reach a gigantic orb, which I might be reaching right now. Yeah, here it is. And then finally the boss fight. The enemies in this stage are the wall-mounted turrets, and of course the guys running in front of them. The green ones are normal enemies that explode as soon as you hit them, and sometimes a red one will jump by, which when you shoot him, he gives you a new weapon. As you can see here, I just picked up the flame weapon, which is considered to be the worst one for the NES version. The flame gun has its uses, but most people prefer to stick with the spread gun and just annihilate the game. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to show this gun off. I'll finish this level with it, and then play the next level with it too. And here's the boss of Stage 2. It's a giant supercomputer. The weaknesses, of course, are the giant orbs in front of it, and there are, of course, 2 mounted guns protecting it. Take the guns out first if you want. I personally don't like being shot at the whole time, and then you can focus on destroying the other orbs. Once the orbs are all destroyed, you'll fight the next one boss. And here's the second form of the boss. I'm not sure what it is, but it goes back and forth shooting these giant orb-like things at you. The orbs can be destroyed, so there's no need to panic. Really, you can just stand in one spot like I am and keep shooting at it as it goes back and forth. Eventually, it'll go down with little trouble. Stage 3, of course, is the waterfall, like I just said. This is the only stage in the game where the screen scrolls upwards instead of to the side, as you're jumping up from ledge to ledge, scaling the waterfall. This stage can be a little tricky with 2 people, because they have to keep up with one another. If one character lags behind and the other one jumps up ahead, the other character can be killed by scrolling the screen over him. Here's the first appearance of the second support item in the game, the barrier. Barrier is temporary invincibility, like getting a star in Mario. You're invincible to everything. You can run right through enemies if you wanted to, and they would die upon touching you. Their bullets don't hurt you. You can run right through fire itself. You won't get hurt. Of course, there's no music or anything that plays to signify you're invincible, so you have to be careful that it doesn't wear off before you run into something. There's another spread gun. Don't worry, I will be picking it up. It's just not its turn. When you finally reach the top of the waterfall, it's time for the boss. The boss, of course, is this giant alien thing with wavy arms that shoot fireballs at you, and it's guarding the door to the next base. To defeat it, first take out both tips of the arms. The fireballs they shoot are pretty slow and you can easily dodge them, and the arms like to move in these weird sporadic patterns that eventually will freeze and hold for a couple seconds, allowing you to take them out easily. Aim at the tips and with a few hits they'll be gone. Once both arms are gone, just stand here in the center, or a little off from the center actually, so the middle fireball doesn't hurt you. Aim up and shoot at it. You can only hit it while the mouth is open, but keep shooting anyway, as most of your bullets will hit it. After a few shots, the thing will explode, and you can jump right through the hole in its gut to the next stage. And here we are at Base 2. Base 2 is pretty much the same thing as Base 1, except everything is red, and the shields over the orbs take a little more hits to take down. As As I'm sure you've noticed, the only thing you can't dodge while ducking are the grenades they throw. But if you kill the enemies quick enough, they won't be able to throw the grenades anyway, so you won't have to dodge. The rolling pins are another obstacle, but if you're ducking down, you can actually destroy them before they come to you, so you won't have to move. Otherwise, just jump over them. I'm stalling here because I'm waiting for the red guy to show up so I can get a new weapon. Ah, here we go. And he drops barrier. Okay, that's different. I don't think I've ever gotten a barrier in this stage before. Whatever. Rapid. Really? Rapid? Come on, where's my next weapon? Here's the last stage of Base 2. Hopefully I can pick up a weapon before I blow this thing up. Just like the first one, it's a giant orb. This time, of course, it's red instead of blue. There we go, and a machine gun. Well, I've already shown that weapon off, so I'll just stick with the flame gun. Like the boss of Base 1, Base 2 boss is a supercomputer. This time, however, there are enemies that run out and try and attack you. The red ones will run out and shoot at you, and the blue ones will run out and try and jump at you. Both are easy to avoid and just as easy to kill, so focus on taking out the mounted gun while taking out the enemies that run and shoot at you. Just like Base 1, shooting all the orbs will reveal the second form of the boss. This time, it's two heads that move back and forth and shoot these weird bubbles at you. The bubbles home in on you a little bit, so you gotta be careful not to get hit by them. You can shoot them easy enough, as they're pretty big targets. I'd like to point out that my frame rate is a little off, so you're only seeing two heads instead of four. Now, there only are two heads, but when they move back and forth, they make this sort of after-image effect, which is why it looks like they're jumping to one side of the screen. The heads actually split, so two go one way, two go the other way, giving it the effect that it looks like there's four of them, and you have to either wait for them to rejoin or shoot the real head in order to destroy them. Thankfully, the heads aren't too difficult, and once you get the pattern down and get used to destroying the bubbles, they'll drop after a few more hits. Now we're at Stage 5, the Snowfield. We're in a snow-covered area with a night sky, beautiful stars, and trees that have grenades flying out from behind them. Not sure who or what is throwing the grenades, but you have to be careful as you step not to walk into the grenade itself or the explosion, as both will kill you in one shot. Another machine gun. Yeah, I'll take it this time just to get away from this flame gun already. I've had it for far too long. I believe Stage 5 is also the first appearance of these guys on standing turrets. They have a bad habit of appearing just as the screen starts to scroll, so you don't see them in time to duck. So you want to be careful as you're walking to make sure you don't walk into their shots. Another thing Stage 5 introduces is the enemies you've been shooting throughout the entire game will now shoot back. They have handguns with little red bullets that they fire once they stop running. So if you shoot them before they stop running, you're fine. At this point, 3 power-ups are going to come flying at you. There's a spread, a falcon thing that's a special item that actually destroys all enemies on screen, and a rapid fire. The most important one being the spread gun, which I finally picked up. As you can see, the gun fires in a spread-like pattern, hence the name, shooting out at 5 bullets at once. Now we have this tank thing to deal with. The tank is going to come in the middle of the screen and stop, and then try and shoot you with its turret. If you get right in front of it and duck, the turret will shoot right over you regardless of the angle it's at. Then you just have to keep pumping bullets into it until it explodes. It'll change color depending on how much health it has left, and once it turns fully red, it'll explode. You have to shoot it as fast as you can, because if you're not quick enough, it will start moving again and kill you. A little bit after the first one, we have another tank. If you have the spread gun, you can take the tank out in a matter of seconds. Anything else may take a little bit longer, but it's still possible. Boss time. The Stage 5 boss is a spaceship that floats above you and shoots at you while sending out little ships from the side. You can stand directly underneath it and shoot up, which will destroy the shots that it fires at you, as well as hitting the boss. Then you just have to take out the ships that it shoots out after it disappears. It only takes a few hits to take it down, especially if you have the spread shot. Stage 6 is the energy zone. It's this weird factory-like area with pipes all over the place in the background, and of course it's littered with enemies to destroy. Now here we're introduced to another new aspect, the fire trap. This one shoots out vertically from the ceiling, but they can also come from the floor and from the walls. In either case, wait for them to rescind and then quickly run underneath or duck under them like right here. This part's kind of tricky. You have to wait for the flames to shoot out, then as they're going back, jump up and then duck underneath them in order to get by without getting hit. You have to be somewhat quick and be careful you don't try and jump while you're still holding down, otherwise you'll fall through the floor and probably fall into the fire below. I've done that several times and it's quite annoying. Now I just picked up another barrier option which is very helpful here because you can run right through all the fire without getting hurt. This would originally be the second place you would find the barrier power-up, but I've somehow managed to find one in Phase 1. Like I said, I've never really found that one before. Anyway, with the barrier thing, you can easily run through the rest of the level, getting to this flat platform here that's going to lead to the boss. The boss of Stage 6 is this big, burly robot thing. He runs back and forth and throws out these spiked discs at you, which you can easily destroy or jump over. He then likes to jump up and down and sometimes jump over you. Quickly shoot him as fast as you can, and after you deliver enough shots to him, he will go down. With the spread gun, he goes down in a matter of seconds. Stage 7 is the hangar. I have no idea what kind of hangar this is. As you can see, there are these weird spikes that come at you from the ceiling, so just wait for them to go back up before trying to go underneath. In some cases, you'll find this weird cart thing that you can ride, jump off of, whatever. You have to be careful though, because if you let it run into you, it will kill you. You can destroy it if you want to. It doesn't take many hits to take out. Now, right after the first cart, you'll run into these spike walls. Be careful, as there are actually 3 of them that come up one after the other. When you see one start to come up, quickly stop so you don't run into it and lose a life. The spikes can be taken out by shooting at them a few times, and with the spread gun, like everything else, they go down almost instantly. Now here we had a spike wall and then the alternating spikes. So stand here under the white spike that doesn't come down and take out the wall before moving onward. Right after that, you can jump on one of the orange carts below in order to get up here and pick up a barrier power-up. Barrier makes life so much easier. Now here we have our first set of alternating spikes. Take your time and wait for the spikes to go back up before standing underneath. Of course, they put a spike wall right at the end, making you have to go back and forth underneath each spikes until you can take the wall out. Shortly after that is the boss of Stage 6. The boss isn't an actual boss per se, but rather a bunch of things being thrown at you at once. You have 2 turrets below you, a door that spits out guards, and a flashy thing above the door. Your target is the flashy thing above the door. Take out the turrets, kill any guards that come at you, and then shoot the flashy thing until it explodes, leading you into Stage 8, the final stage, Alien's Lair. So now we're at the last stage of the game. As you can see, it really looks like we're in some kind of alien domain. We somehow went from a hangar into aliens. Go figure. When you see the 2 power-up orbs coming at you, make sure the bottom one is above solid ground before you destroy it, as it contains a barrier power-up. The barrier makes this next segment much easier, where you're blocked by a wall and have to shoot at this giant pink alien head that constantly spits out these shrimp-like enemies. Without the barrier, you can be doing a lot of jumping around trying not to get hit by the shrimp enemies while trying to destroy the giant alien head itself. But with barrier, it makes things so much easier. One of the main things you'll be facing in this alien domain are the alien turrets. These are going to replace the standard military turrets we've been seeing the whole game. You could destroy the white projectiles they shoot out, as well as destroy them, so I kind of like them a little better. Now things start to get a little tricky. You'll see a little alien running at you that you can quickly destroy, as well as some turrets below you. Keep destroying the aliens running at you, and working your way forward until you meet the heart, so to speak, of the entire Red Falcon. Above and below the Red Falcon are these weird flower things that spit out the running aliens. I recommend taking out the red flower things first, that way you can focus on the heart itself without having to worry about being attacked by running aliens. Of course, you can also just keep shooting at the heart until it dies while dodging the aliens as they come flying at you. Your choice. Either way, the more bullets you pump into the heart thing, the faster it beats until finally it explodes and you've beaten the game. Congratulations! Enjoy the ending. Now that right there is an ending on par with the ending from Ghostbusters 1 NES. The only difference is it's spelled right and they use proper punctuation. Still, that little paragraph is the only bit of story the game gives us. If you didn't have the back of the box to read, or Nintendo Power, since of course there was no internet back there, you really had no idea what was going on. But then again, what more did you need to know? You had a gun with unlimited ammo, bunch of guys running at you trying to kill you, and bosses that you need to destroy. Pretty self-explanatory. Run, shoot, jump, repeat. Presented by Konami. Fantastic job, Konami. You really outdid yourself on this one. Once the credits finish rolling, the game repeats itself and you can continue on from the beginning of the game with your same score. If you're going for some kind of high score run, it'll take about 6 complete runs through the game to max out the score counter. Good luck! Okay, so that was Contra on the NES. I really hope you enjoyed it, as it's one of the best games out there for the NES. Simple, fun, 2-player action, what more could you ask for? So now that we've seen our version of Contra, I'm going to show you the Famicom version that was released in Japan, and you can see just how different everything is. The Famicom version, of course, was called Gryzor. The plot and gameplay are still the same. You're playing as Bill or Lance, and of course you're trying to destroy the Red Falcon. However, the Japanese version is set in the fictional Oceania archipelago of Galuga in the futuristic year of 2633, whereas the American version is set in some unnamed South American island. You won't notice any differences from that, though. That's just a story difference. However, you will notice several graphical differences due to the enhanced capabilities of the Famicom versus the NES. The Famicom version makes use of a custom-made multi-memory controller that Konami produced called the VRC2 instead of a standard chip, allowing for additional graphical effects that were cut out of the American version. You'll see what these graphical differences are as we play through the game, as I'm going to point them out as we go. I don't want to spoil anything for those who may not have played this version. Gryzor also has a level select and sound test code along with the Konami code. I won't be using these codes, but I will put them in the description if you want to try them out yourself. Okay, enough jabbering. Time to show you what Gryzor looks like. So here's Gryzor. First noticeable difference, an animated title screen. Pretty cool, huh? As before, enter the Konami code if you want more lives. Hitting start. Oh my god, story. Now here's the map I mentioned. Similar to Super Ghouls and Ghosts and whatnot, it shows you the whole area you'll be going through. After that, just like Contra, you're dumped right into the game. Like I said before, the gameplay itself is exactly the same as Contra. It's only a few graphical differences you're going to notice. One of them is coming up. Since I showed off the weapons in the Contra version of the game, this time I'm just going to grab the spread gun and go crazy. And there's the first graphical difference, the moving palm trees. With the use of that chip, the palm trees can actually move back and forth as if there's a wind blowing through them. Pretty cool. And we're back at the boss again. Just like before, take out the guy on top, then take out the guns, followed by the giant flashing thing that can only be its weak point. Watch how fast the spread gun gets rid of this. That was the first cutscene of the game. There'll be a cutscene like that before each stage, where I'm guessing he's relaying his status to Control or whoever. And back at base 1. Just like before, take out the flashing orbs to move on. Hey, the flame gun! Not this time, sticking with spread. And back to the supercomputer. Just like before, take out the guns, then take out the flashing orbs, and then finally take out the second one. See how much easier the spread gun makes the game? Okay, so that was apparently called Guru Makaruma. Interesting. Time for the waterfall. Here we have another graphical difference, the water. The water here is a lot different from ours in the way it actually looks like it's flowing, especially here when you can see it crashing down at the bottom. It's a minor difference that you might not spot right away. You probably would have had to play Contra first, then play this one again in order to pick it out, as it is, like I said, kind of minor. But another cool effect. Okay, so time for the alien boss story again. Just like before, take the arms out, then blow its head off. With the spread gun, like everything else, he goes down like nothing. And now we're back at base 2. Same thing. Shoot the shields over the red orbs, blow up the red orbs, proceed through the base. And here we are back at the boss. Just like before, take out the orbs, watch out for the guys shooting and jumping at you, take out the turret, and then take out the boss itself. The spread gun makes taking out the homing bubbles a breeze. You don't even have to move, just stand still and fire. And that thing was apparently called Godomaga, leaving for base at point C. Here we go, Snowfield. Okay, here's the next big graphical difference. First thing you'll see, the snow is falling. Really nice touch, especially for an NES game. That's the power of that chip they made. The second touch is you can see all the trees are moving just like the palm trees from the first stage. Here's the snow again. It'll pick up a couple times throughout the level. Really nice touch. Thankfully, it isn't like the snow or wind in Ninja Gaiden that blows you around as you jump. It's just there to add a nice touch to the background. That flash you just saw was the special item that destroys everything on screen. Unfortunately, you didn't get to see it because the power-up bubble was right on top of me when I shot it, but it took out the guy in the water and the couple guys that were jumping at me. Tank time! Just like before, just keep shooting it until it blows up. and Stage 5 boss, the goofy spaceship thing. Just like before, stand right underneath it, hold up, and fire. It'll go down after a few shots. So apparently the energy zone blocks radio transmissions? I don't know. You know, now that I think about it, I don't think I showed off the laser. No, I didn't. Okay, so now I'll use the laser for the rest of this run. The laser, as you can see, is a laser. It shoots out a straight beam of concentrated fire, then hits several times as the entire beam goes into the target. If you mash the fire button, the laser will actually stop as it's going out, and you'll get like a rapid laser thing that does a massive damage to enemies right up close to you. Unfortunately, it does nothing for ranged foes, so make sure that the laser is completely out of the gun before firing again. Basically, fire, wait a second or two, then fire again. Boss time. Same guy as before, this time I'm fighting him with the laser instead of the spread gun. Sadly, the laser just isn't as powerful as the spread gun, so it'll take a little bit longer to take this boss out. When the boss moves towards you, it is possible to jump over him. You just have to make sure you're going over at the peak of your jump so you're high enough to sail over his head. That was pretty cool. He's fired up, that's for sure. The cutscenes are actually really well done for an NES game. It really shows you the power of that chip they made. Too bad they couldn't put it in the NES. And we're back in the hangar. Nothing really graphically upgraded here either. Same old, just be careful of the spikes and make your way through. Here's an example of the rapid laser thing. You can hear how many times it hits the target as I mash the fire button. Gonna take the lower path this time as I went on the upper path in the last run. And just like before, jumping off the orange cart to grab Barry to make the rest of this easier. So here we are at the entrance to the alien's lair. We've got the same turrets, the same flashy thing, and guys running at you. Once the turrets are destroyed, you can focus on the flashy thing above the door, just like before. Is that it? No more guys, you jerk. Come on, come get some. You know you want some. Okay. Goodbye, flashy thing. I wonder what or who he's shooting at. He's just wasting ammo. Okay, apparently going into the alien's lair, we're exposing their territory. Now here's probably the last graphical difference in the game. Look at how everything is pulsating. It really makes you feel like you're in some kind of alien lair, which you are, and the pulsating, it's like everything is alive. It gives you that creepy, icky feeling that, like, you have something crawling on you and whatnot. Gotta be a little more careful here since I'm using the laser, but still, not too bad. Look at that, even the ceiling is alive. They really went all out with this one. And now the pulsating quickens as you're nearing the final boss. I guess it's anticipating you. The final boss, you gotta treat it a little differently with the laser since you don't have a wide area you're shooting at like you did with Spread. Take out both of the bottom flowers and then the top left flower in order to ensure yourself an easy victory. For some reason, the top right flower just spits out enemies that like to run along the ceiling and go right above you. They don't drop down at all. So once you get rid of the top left one, you're home free. With the main flowers destroyed, you can focus on the heart itself, and after a few good shots, the thing will be dead and you can enjoy the ending. And that was Gryzor. The ending was pretty much the same, except you got to see them get in the helicopter that flies away, and then the screen scrolls away. You don't get the congratulatory message you got from Contra, but they didn't really need to put that there since you had all that great story telling you everything about the game. So yeah, exact same game as Contra with a couple graphical upgrades, the cutscenes, the moving stuff in the backgrounds, a really beautiful presentation. It's a shame they couldn't do the same with the NES version. Now if you remember, I mentioned Gryzor had a couple extra codes as well as the Konami code. One code I didn't mention is if you hold start and select just after you blow the boss up and hold them throughout the entire credits, you'll get a hidden message. The message will appear just after the Konami screen. If you happen to be epileptic or something, look away. Here's the secret message. Unfortunately, it's not translated, so it just looks like a bunch of garbled text. But I did a little research, and it seems this is a message from Red Falcon vowing his revenge. I'm sure there's some name-calling or something going on in there somewhere. I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time. Whether or not you saw the message, the game will repeat just like Contra after the credits roll. You'll still have your score, so you can continue to boost it if you want, and like I said, it'll take around 6 run-throughs if you want to max out the score counter. But that's going to bring another two-tailed playthrough to a close. Contra is such a great game. It pretty much paved the way for run-and-gun shooters, as I believe I said before. If you haven't played it before, I urge you to pick up a copy somehow, whether it's on Virtual Console or through eBay if you still have your NES, and give it a shot. You'll love it, especially if you have a friend to play with. So I hope you enjoyed this two-tailed playthrough, and thank you for watching.